This is Media Update Media I ate, where I talk about the media I consume. This shouldn't exclusively be covering Korean dramas, but that's what I've exclusively been watching recently, so here we go. In this Media Update Media I ate podcast, I'll be covering the 7th episode of Introverted Boss. This show also goes by 2 other names, Shy Boss or Sensitive Boss. If you're watching either of those shows, we're talking about the same thing. Now, the 6th episode left me seething at the characters and the writers. It was just awful, which was a shame because the 5th episode was really great. Now, if you can't recall what went on either of those episodes or any of the series, I've covered the whole series on my YouTube channel, which is called Indian K-Drama Obsessive. Figuring It Out Alive. So you can head on over to that to refresh your memory. The 7th episode was better than the 6th, but so dull at the same time. We could see significant character development, but the rest of the show was just blah. I'll be briefly summarizing the episode and then talking about the 2 to 3 moments that made me laugh. As you can guess, there will be tons of spoilers on this podcast, so please make sure you watch the 7th episode of Introverted Boss before listening to this, if spoilers bother you. Before I begin, let me recap the names of the characters. Unang-gi is the introverted boss. He was the co-CEO of the PR company called Brain, where all these characters work, but he got demoted. Now he leads a division within the company called Silent Monster. His right-hand man and the second lead male of the drama is called Kang-woo. He is the co-CEO of Brain. He's the guy that led Chae Ru Woon's sister to commit suicide. Who is Chae Ru Woon? She's the lead female character who is a new employee. She came to the company to seek revenge for her sister, who committed suicide while working as Unang-gi's secretary. But in this episode, we see her purpose is changing. The 7th episode begins where the 6th ended. Unang-gi and Chae Ru Woon are at the orphanage where Chae Ru Woon's sister used to help out. Unang-gi took Chae Ru Woon's panda costume and he was somehow able to overcome his severe social anxiety and entertain the kids and adult staff members at the orphanage while being hidden in the costume. This gave him a confidence boost, which enabled him to take a few risks in this episode, such as scheduling a meeting with his team and even going out for a company meal at the end of the day. We saw that Chae Ru Woon is opening up to Unang-gi and starting to remember bitter memories of her sister and mother dying. We can see that while she is helping Unang-gi come out of his shell, he's also definitely helping her close her emotional wounds. Chae Ru Woon directly asks Unang-gi about her sister and what kind of person she was without knowing that he knows that she was her sister. When he responds that she was a good person and he regretted not having told her that while she was alive, Chae Ru Woon realizes that maybe her target is wrong. Maybe Unang-gi isn't the person who drove her sister to commit suicide. After watching episode 5, we know that it wasn't him, but actually the actions and lies of Kang-woo. Unfortunately, Chae Ru Woon at the moment isn't in a place to suspect him because she has a crush on him. And we encounter a scary deja vu moment with Kang-woo in this episode. On Christmas Eve, he once again leaves his fiancée and gets drunk at a bar. He calls Chae Ru Woon like he had her sister 3 years before, but instead of forcing himself on Chae Ru Woon like he had her sister, we see that he's really apologetic to her sister, because in his drunken state, he's confusing the two of them, even though they don't look alike, and also even though he doesn't know that they are sisters yet. So it's good to see that his character is regretful. However, I think we might see his character snap soon, because in this episode, he is wound tight. Not only does he get slapped by his father-in-law to-be, or to-be father-in-law, who is Unang-gi's father and possibly the most aggressive father in all of K-drama history, but he also gets shouted at by Unang-gi in front of all his employees. Yes, shouted at by Unang-gi. Unang-gi loses it, which of course makes people stare. Man, this guy, Kang-woo's pride is so bruised, it's so badly wounded, we might see him snap soon. I enjoyed all the overthinking we saw when Unagi was in his team meeting. That was pretty good, and overall I enjoyed the scenes with him and Silent Monster. But goodness me, they have not improved Chae Ru Woon's character at all. She is still so annoying. I don't know how much longer I can stand to watch this show just because of her character. This was my problem right at the beginning, and it's still the most annoying thing about this show. Chae Ru Woon is leveling out Yisu's character's annoyance by the end of this episode. Yisu is Unangi's sister and Kang-woo's fiancé. When Kang-woo confronts her for not confronting him when he left her and her family during Christmas Eve dinner, what she says makes me cringe, and I don't know, I didn't expect anything better from her character either, because she's so deeply infatuated with him. But near the end of the episode, when he's driving away after being slapped by her father, we can see that Kang-woo might let go of Yisu, and that her clingy desperation can't relent much longer against the reality, which is he never loved her nor cared for her. There were 2 to 3 parts of this episode which really made me laugh hard. First, 25 minutes in, the scene where Unangi's secretary gives him a makeover of sorts before going to the company dinner. He looks so fine, and he finds it so uncomfortable. It's hilarious. It's so funny. And only a few minutes later, when Chae Ru Woon invites Unagi to the Silent Monster chat group without the permission of all the other employees, oh man, that discomfort and tension was hilarious. That happens about 28 minutes in. So at the company dinner, Unagi brought his camera and was taking pictures of Chae Ru Woon mostly, when he was looking through them on his laptop, and Chae Ru Woon walked in and almost caught him. That scene was so funny. He literally hid her in his hood, like in his jacket. And then when she left, thinking that he was hiding her from seeing, I don't know, his porn stash or something, he just collapsed on the floor. Oh man, and we also see that Chae Ru Woon is quite flustered by that as well, so she's definitely beginning to get them feelings, I think. And I should mention before I end this that at the end of the episode, the entire Silent Monster team is in Malaysia, I think, for a PR job with the young orphans that we see at the beginning of this episode. Okay, so I'm not crazy about this episode, and I'm finding the show to be quite dull. I hope it gets better, but I find myself saying that at the end of most Introverted Boss episodes. So I don't know, like I'm definitely going to be watching the next episode because I already, I've got it and I'm going to watch it, but oh man, it's starting to get like really so flat. I don't know if I want to continue. So that's all from me now on episode 7 of Introverted Boss, aka Shy Boss or Sensitive Boss. I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel. I'm at about like 70 subscribers now, and I honestly can't even believe it. Thank you so much if you've already subscribed. I'm Nandini Flurry, and I'll see you in the next media update, Media I 8. Please continue the discussion down below. The only thing I beg you for is please just don't post any spoilers of the next episode or any future episodes. Just keep it, keep the discussion up to episode 7. That would be great. Okay, that's all from me. Bye bye.